Welcome to this episode of Extravagant Generosity, where we reflect on how the practice of generosity impacts our communities, touches our hearts, and works for a more just world. My name is Andrew Warner, Generosity Outreach Officer for the National Setting of the United Church of Christ. I'm joined by Jonna Jenson, Associate Conference Minister on the Tri-Conference staff, serving the Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota conferences. Jonna, when it comes to the ministry of fundraising, many people struggle with the idea of asking for money. I often hear people say that asking for money can feel awkward and unnatural. Sometimes I hear stories of people who were asked in ways that felt uncomfortable or shaming. Can making an ask be holy work? Can an ask be a sacred opportunity?
Yes, Andrew, I believe with all my heart that it can be. I've been thinking and praying about this and have experienced God drawing me into conversations about asking, even taking the trouble to come dressed as a woman in work clothes to one of my recent oil changes, to engage me in an unbidden conversation about asking. What a blessed pest God can be. I invite you to think and pray with me, if you will, about all the holy adventures, all the amazing blessings in your life that began with someone asking. The holy adventure of ministry began for me as a young girl when someone asked me to read the scriptures at Sunday worship. They just asked. And God began to seal the deal through the voice of my parish pastor, who asked me as a college student to lead worship and to preach on Memorial Day Sunday, which is a safe Sunday for a beginner. He just asked. The years I spent traveling doing comedy began with a question from our town barber. She told me that no one was signing up for the adult talent show at the town summer doings. Could I help? She just asked. This adventure of serving on a conference staff began when a colleague called me on the phone and asked. I had experienced the Holy Spirit borrowing his phone before. And I will confess to one whispered barnyard expletive before I said yes. Most of the holy adventures of romance in our lives begin with some kind of an ask. May I carry your books? Would you like to dance? Wonder about the questions you may have experienced as a romance began. Our life's work, our opportunities for service, our travels, our relationships, our risks, our seasons of blossoming and bearing fruit, all likely began with someone asking. I invite you to join with me in thanking God for all the life-changing questions that have shaped our days. Let's raise blessing and thanksgiving for the precious souls who asked us, sometimes following a God prompt, sometimes having no idea how their one question might move us. Maybe even hating to ask folk for things just as much as we do. I invite you to join with me in prayerful paying attention. God may well have a question for someone and may well seek you and your voice to ask it. And if you, like me, don't really like asking folk for things, draw courage and fuel for asking by the memories you have of folk who pointed your life in holy directions just because they asked.
Thank you, Jonna. Your words reminded me of all the opportunities that began in my life because someone asked. Asking does have that power to transform lives. For all those watching this, please consider these questions. When did someone's request of you change your life? When did you make an ask of someone else? And what kind of asks can you make in your church?